She had arrived in Toronto with a heart full of hope and a head brimming with dreams, leaving behind the familiar warmth of her homeland for the promise of a new beginning. Armed with a master's degree and a work ethic that could move mountains, she was ready to lay down roots. Her first few months were a whirlwind of settling in, navigating public transit, and sending out countless job applications. Rejection letters became unwelcome, frequent guests in her inbox. Lack of Canadian experience, they often cited, a phrase that felt like a catch-22, a lock without a key. But Aisha was not one to be easily deterred. She knew, as the proverb goes, smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. She pressed on, refining her resume, networking, and keeping her spirits afloat. The incident that truly hit her like a ton of bricks occurred during an interview for a promising position at a reputable firm. The initial screening had gone splendidly, her qualifications aligning perfectly with the job description. She walked into the final interview, a spring in her step, dressed impeccably, her smile genuine and hopeful. The interviewer, Mr. Thompson, a man whose handshake was as cold as the Canadian winter outside, barely made eye contact as Aisha settled into the chair. The conversation began cordially enough, discussing her past roles and technical skills, but then the questions took a subtle yet unmistakable turn. "Your name, Aisha. It's quite unique," he remarked, his tone less curious, more scrutinizing. He then proceeded to ask about her cultural background in a way that felt intrusive and irrelevant to the job. He made comments about her accent, suggesting it might be a barrier in client interactions, despite her clear and fluent English. It felt as though he was sizing her up, not based on her capabilities, but on where she came from, on the color of her skin. The atmosphere shifted from professional assessment to an uncomfortable interrogation about her fit, a fit that seemed to have less to do with skills and more with unspoken prejudiced criteria. He asked if she would be comfortable in a predominantly non-minority environment, a question that sent a shiver down her spine. It was a thinly veiled suggestion that her very presence might be an issue. Aisha left the interview feeling utterly deflated, a knot tightening in her stomach. The air outside felt heavy, mirroring the weight in her chest. It was a stark reminder that even in a country that prided itself on multiculturalism, the ugly head of discrimination could still rear itself. She had faced subtle biases before, but this was a bitter pill to swallow, a blatant disregard for her merit based on her race. She didn't get the job. The rejection email arrived 2 days later, a generic template that offered no specific feedback. But Aisha knew deep down that it wasn't about her qualifications. It was about the color of her skin, the sound of her name, the otherness that Mr. Thompson perceived. For a moment, she felt like giving up, like the system was rigged against her. But then she remembered the countless others who had faced similar, or far worse, injustices and had persevered. She thought of the proverb, "The darkest hour is just before the dawn." Aisha decided that this experience, painful as it was, would not break her spirit. It fueled a new resolve. She would continue to strive, not just for her own success, but to challenge the subtle and overt forms of discrimination that cast a shadow over the promise of a truly equitable society. She knew that change wouldn't happen overnight, but every voice raised, every story shared, was a step towards a brighter future where merit, not race, would be the true measure of a person. Have you ever witnessed an act of racism? It's shocking. Racial discrimination is a persistent issue in society. Many experience it daily, often in silence. Today, we'll reveal a powerful video showing this shocking reality. This footage captured an incident in Canada. It's a moment that demands our attention. First, let's start with what you will see in the video. A live, unfiltered situation occurs. An individual faces discrimination based solely on their race. This encounter unfolds in a public space where everyone should feel safe. As we watch, notice the reactions from onlookers. Some are passive, while others speak out. It highlights the diversity of perspectives in these moments. In this scenario, the victim clearly experiences confusion and hurt. It's essential to empathize with their feelings. This helps us understand the impact of racism on individuals. Visualize being in their place. How would you feel? This approach can foster empathy in viewers. As we review the footage, remember it reveals a larger systemic issue. Racism can exist in many forms, subtle or overt, intentional or unintentional. Now, let's summarize what we've learned. We must acknowledge that racial discrimination persists. Real incidents reveal the struggle many face. This live footage serves as a call for change. Ignoring these issues is no longer an option. Let's educate ourselves and stand up against discrimination. Share this video. Start conversations. Your voice matters. Together we can fight against racism and create a more inclusive society. Don't stay silent. Speak out. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you were unsure of how to react? Watching the video, many viewers find themselves grappling with this dilemma. As the incident unfolds, they may wonder if speaking up would make a difference, or if it would escalate tensions. This hesitation is common and speaks volumes about the societal complexities surrounding racism. People often reflect on their own values in these moments, questioning what it means to be an ally. Some might feel a mix of emotions, including anger, sadness, or even guilt. It's these honest reactions that can spark meaningful dialogue, enabling education and understanding to flourish. Encouraging viewers to explore these feelings can prompt a deeper examination of their beliefs and biases. In the moments that follow the initial act of discrimination, the camera pans across the crowd, capturing a mix of expressions. Some viewers appear stunned, their faces frozen in disbelief, while others instinctively reach for their phones to record the incident, seemingly more focused on documenting it than intervening. This compels us to examine the tension between witnessing and acting. Witnessing can often become a passive experience, leaving the burden of response on the individual who faces bias. The stakes are high here, as each onlooker's choice contributes to a broader narrative about societal attitudes toward racism, pushing us to consider our own potential reactions. As the video progresses, a few brave souls step forward, disrupting the silence with their voices. They confront the situation head-on, demanding respect and accountability. Each word they utter embodies a stand against injustice, signifying the power of collective action. The atmosphere thickens as the tension escalates. Some bystanders seem relieved to see others take a stand, while others appear uncomfortable. This moment highlights the courage required to challenge discrimination, reminding us that silence can perpetuate harm. Each act of solidarity serves as a reminder that change requires active participation and unwavering support for those who suffer in silence. In conclusion, the urgency to confront racism cannot be overstated. As we reflect on the actions displayed in the video, we are reminded that our collective response can indeed foster a safer and more inclusive environment for all. Together, we have the power to instigate lasting change by standing against injustice.